Koutou katoa tonight on City News. Local police gathered at Rotorua yesterday to remember colleagues who've died in the line of duty. Students from John Paul College have taken part in a Remember September campaign by Students Against Drunk Driving, and anglers are eager about tomorrow's opening of the new trout fishing season. Local police gathered at Rotorua yesterday to remember colleagues who have died in the line of duty. Rotorua District Area Commander Inspector Bruce Horn says the annual Police Remembrance Day service is held at the Royal New Zealand Police College. However, many districts also hold their own services.
One of the long-standing traditions of police is our Remembrance Day service, which is the 29th of September every year. So there is a remembrance service held at the Royal New Zealand Police College, and that's been running for some time, but feedback from our staff a few years ago was it'd be nice to also have a remembrance service for those that can't travel down to the police college for that, and also for the families of police officers who have died and passed on, for them. So about 6-7 years ago we started having a service here at St Faith's, and primarily it's to remember the 29 police officers who were killed in their execution of their duties since the police was first established in 1886. But it's also a time to reflect on other serving police officers who have more recently passed on, and remember their service to the community as well.
Students from John Paul College have taken part in a Remember September campaign by Students Against Driving Drunk, or SAD. Remember September aims to get young people talking about road safety through student-driven events and activities in schools and communities across the country. At John Paul College on Friday, students held a mock crash with local fire and ambulance staff taking part.
Yeah, look, we were invited down here today from the SAD organisation, who you may commonly have heard of them referred to as Students Against Drunk Driving. However, this time we're focusing on students against driving whilst distracted. So we're invited down today to do a little visual presentation to the students, hoping that just by not reading about it or being told about it, by actually physically being able to see something, that we could perhaps hammer home that message a little more against the dangers and the repercussions of driving whilst distracted. It's been our pleasure to come down and take part in this presentation, and we just hope that one or two people have taken our message away and we've hit our target audience.
The Ngāti Whakauē Education Endowment Trust is calling for applications for the Hospitality Training Scholarship. The scholarship is run in conjunction with Sudima Hotel and aims to train hapu descendants in a hospitality career.
2 years ago we sat down and we just entered into discussion with the Education Endowment Trust from Ngāti Whakauē to explore some ways in how we could facilitate and help them develop young hospitality leaders. And we came up with a concept that involves us supporting a young Maori student, so to speak, ideally a school leaver who is embarking on a career, and we will provide them employment with us for a year, with the ultimate aim of them then progressing into tertiary study. And the Education Endowment Trust then assists the student through a variety of means. And it's just something we're very proud of. We've had the first candidate, our Terry Douglas, go through this process. So he's nearing the end of his first year with us now. And we are currently looking at opening applications for the 2015 variety of this. So yeah, I'd encourage anyone interested in that to contact the hotel, just with details in regards to that. We will also be putting it out into the media for applications to open for young people if they are interested in a hotel career or a hospitality career as such. Most certainly we think that's a great start.
In sport tonight, trout fishing season kicks off tomorrow with hundreds of eager anglers ready to hit the waterways. Fish and Game are predicting a bumper season due to the warm spring conditions. Officer Anthony Van Dorp says strong angler turnouts are expected on Lakes Tarawera, Rotorua and Okataina, which have been rested for 3 months. To your weather update now. Tonight, fine, fresh southeasterlies overnight, a low of 8. Tomorrow Wednesday, fine, southerlies easing, a high of 16 and low of 3. Looking out to Thursday, morning and evening cloud, northwesterlies developing, a high of 16 and low of 8. Marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Wednesday, southerly 15 knots dying out in the evening, waves less than half a metre, and mainly fine. Remember, for program listings, check out our website tvrotorua.co.nz or head to our Facebook page, TV Rotorua. Still to come tonight on City News, we visit Rotorua Intermediate to help celebrate the students' Ames Game success. We find out about the Rotorua Sculpture Symposium, and Leanne Mullins has news of the new Central Bay Softball League.
We have the sports coordinator, Kim Graham, whom has been responsible for a lot of the achievements that the school has actually had. Kim, 5 medals for Rotorua Intermediate at the Ames Games. How do you feel about that achievement?
Oh, it's amazing. I think all the students have done really well. They've got great support behind them, and that's the reasoning that they did achieve the way they did. Yes.
And what medals were gained?
So we got a gold in tennis, a silver and a bronze in the pool. Golf received a bronze, and our rugby league, boys rugby league, got a silver, and our girls Year 7's majority basketball team received a bronze.
And what was it like in Tauranga on the day?
I work more behind the scenes, so I know that it's been pretty busy over there. There is just a huge contingent of students there. The organisation by coaches and managers to get them there every day, because we actually travel, we don't stay there, so we really rely on our parents and the amazing commitment they have to their students, their children, to get them there and back each day.
And so when it comes to everyone who's involved in getting things ready for that day, there's got to be a lot of training, isn't there?
There is, yes. I know that they put in huge hours in the pool, on the golf course, tennis court, all that sort of stuff. Our rugby league boys have been working tirelessly for probably 2 terms, as have basketball. So yes, it's a huge commitment by the students. They have to give up a lot of their time to be able to participate at this level.
How many teams went over?
We also had 2 netball teams, and we also had squash players, cross-country runners, and I think that's all we had, yes. Yep.
So today's going to be the ceremony, and these children are going to be awarded with these medals?
Yes, they've received their medals from Ames, but we're also acknowledging them with an Outstanding Achievement badge, because they have represented at such a high level that they deserve recognition for all that work.
All right, well, I'm going to have a quick word with the principal. So we have Gary D. Theory here, who is the principal of Rotorua Intermediate. Gary, it must have been quite a proud moment when you found out 5 medals to the school.
Oh, very proud, especially when you think of the competition. There's more competitors at the Ames game than there were at the recent Commonwealth Games, and to sort of think that it's those students are representing schools New Zealand wide. So you've got South Island schools, North Island schools, Auckland schools, and if you think of the number of intermediates they have in Auckland, they have that solid competition all the time, whereas we just play in our local area, our 3 local Rotorua intermediates. So just think that we've developed a skill level to compete against those big intermediates, be it Auckland or Christchurch or whatever. It's an amazing sort of result.
Yeah, because you are right, it was schools from all over New Zealand, wasn't it? So why is it important for our intermediate here at Rotorua to take part in these games?
I think we're trying to prove to our students that they can compete anywhere. And we talk about that they're going to grow into a global world and global opportunities, and this is just the first step along that way to think that that they can compete across New Zealand, and then if that's the possibility, what else could their life look like?
So it's really about developing that personal...
Very much so, yeah, developing that that mindset of that there's huge possibilities out there, and we sort of pursue with our students our school motto about courage and commitment, about courage, about having a go, but you need to commit yourself to actually to succeed, and all of these students have done that.
Building that persistence that it takes to be a winner.
Very much so.
Yeah. So Gary, where to from here? Is it just going to get bigger and better when it comes to your involvement with the AIMS Games? Is it encouraging more students into that?
I think the organisers are doing a fantastic job, because they're increasing the range of sports. So it isn't just your traditional sports of, say, netball and league, and that they're moving into cross country, but they're looking at mountain biking, looking at sailing next year. So it's just turning around, sort of saying, look, our students now, there's huge opportunities out there, huge that they can sort of pathways, sporting pathways they can go down, and so the organisers have actually are building on that to sort of, and that creates that inclusiveness, because at the end of the time you can only have your 15 rugby players plus reserves, and that's it for that particular sport. But if you increase the number of sports, therefore you can increase the number of participants.
So we're looking at it, broadening the interests of the children, because it's not just rugby, hockey.
No. And if you look at our students, and you heard Kim in her interview talking about the ranges of sports that our students are involved with, and that's amazing. And so we need to acknowledge that and encourage it.
Well, I just heard the bell, so it might be about time to start the ceremony.
Say by the bell.
Yes, okay. Let's go.
Okay.
Welcome back to City News. Well, many of you may know where I am. Some of you may not have been into the Government Gardens since the recent fabulous makeover that it's had. And we have this man to thank for that. His name is Ngā Tanahira Tepona. Kia ora, Ngā Tanahira.
Kia ora, Kiri.
Tell me a little bit about your dream for this area and what's happening here.
At the moment, I'm one of the sculptors that is going to be partaking in a symposium later on this year, which involves the Rotorua City Council, and a great gentleman by the name of Mark Spokovich got together and talked to the council and put a committee together, and came down here and cleaned up the Arts Village, just behind the Arts Village, the lake that we have here, which is called Sulphur Lake. And he has been working on this project for about a year, and I've been working with him at the same time, and talking about getting sculptures and everything down here to liven up the lake, as they would say.
Because it's a beautiful area, and I've lived in Rotorua nearly for 15 years, and you'd come to the poly pools and you'd never even know that this lake was here, because it was all covered over, and there's a bit of rubbish down there. I think there were some homeless people were there sleeping down there, keeping warm.
Yeah, well, it's a great place to keep warm for them. It's you can't really blame them. Free rent and everything else.
I would be here. I'd be here.
Electric heat. Well, when Mark got his team together and they came down, it was Castle Corp, and they came down and helped clean up, and they built this lovely paths and made it all really fantastic. Now the part that we're going to be involved in is artists from around New Zealand, and one international artist who Mark is still working on at the moment, will be coming here to build at least 15 sculptures which will go around the lake.
Absolutely wonderful.
And
wonderful.
It'll be a great opportunities for students and all that to come down and have a look.
Yes, and it's a labour of love for you, isn't it? It's not just, a couple of sculptures put up in a park. It's actually something that you've invested a lot of time and aroha and money into.
Over the last, since about maybe 2011, I've been working on projects here in Rotorua, sculpture programs, and the council have taken it on board, and because they have all the money, as everybody knows, but I've invested a lot of money in trying to help Rotorua grow, and this is part of it. There are bigger plans which I have yet to offer to the council, but this is just a little bit. And it's
personal money too, and so we want to just put it out there that you're actually hoping for some sponsorship, and you'd love some people to help out, wouldn't you?
Oh, really? Yeah, that'll be really lovely if I can get some sponsorships. So I'm looking for new tools and all that to help put a new sculpture here as well, because I will be fully involved in that part of rather than the committee part.
What would just make your day if someone rang up and said, look, we're going to give you X amount of dollars? What would...
$10,000 would be fantastic.
$10,000, that's what we're looking for, $10,000, and what an investment that is, because this man has single-handedly out of his own pocket put in all of this mahi over so many years, and now all of us can enjoy this reinvigorated, refreshed government gardens, and not only that, beautiful sculptures. So you're an artist as well.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your art, and what are you going to have pieces here?
I will be partaking in the symposium itself, which is a great thing, and I actually went to the New Zealand Māori Arts and Crafts Institute before it became Te Puia.
Oh, yes.
This was way back in the 80s, between 87 to 1990, and then from there on I ended up down in Wellington at a special effects company, and ended up doing special effects for about 5 years, and then after that ended up being chefing and sort of all that, travelling the world and doing a few artworks around the world, and then came back up here.
Just a few casual artworks around the world?
Just a few.
Just a few.
But as a poor artist, we don't actually get to make millions of dollars like all these famous artists do overseas.
But you do beautiful things and you do beautiful work, and actually I didn't know that you were responsible for this beautiful cleanup, so thank you.
Just
me.
One of us, just one of me. Yeah. One of a big team, and that's what we've got to push.
Aroha mai, tell me a little bit about the symposium now and when it's going to run, and I understand there's some workshops there, or some people can come along and they've got to bring their earplugs and watch what happens and learn from them, and some students coming down.
So we're hoping to get all the schools and new budding artists that are up and coming to come down and see what's going on. The symposium itself is actually run by the council, and that's what we've got to really push. And the good thing about it is that they have the backing and the money to do this, which is great. And the thing about that, we need to get the whole of Rotorua involved in this rather than just artists.
Oh, kia ora koe hoa, ngā mihi nui.
Ai, kia ora.
We're at Puke Te Whenua Park with the founder of Central Bay Softball, Leanne Mullins, who's looking for a new home for the sport that combines family, friends and fun. Leanne, why is it important to combine those three?
For me, that's where it started, was family. Coming from Waitakere Bears Softball in Auckland, it's now one of the biggest and strongest clubs in New Zealand. My son started at the age of 3. Playing right up to under 15 this year. All my children have played t-ball and softball, with making representative teams throughout the years as well. So that's where the family comes in, and it's such a fun sport, and the socialising is just great. And it's all about teaching skills, hand-eye coordination, those sorts of things. So starting them from the age of 3 right up to adults playing Premier Ball level, making Black Sox teams and the White Sox and all that, which they have done from Waitakere Bear Softball, and bringing that down here to Rotorua as Central Bay Softball.
The age of 3 now, that's a really young age, and I know in Rotorua here it's usually rugby. So why softball for your young man?
Because we were so passionate about it, and at that age I couldn't really find anything for him to do, so we introduced under 6 Tiny Tots T-ball, and that catered for your 3, 4 and 5-year-olds, and we hit the kindies up there and the daycares, and it took off, and I can see the same thing happening down here.
So you've moved to Rotorua to find that there's a shortage of softball teams here. What did you find exactly?
When we moved here, I was asking the question, is there T-ball and softball down here? And I was advised that it hasn't been here for about 6 to 8 years. And I was like, well, I took it upon myself to start this exciting new venture for Rotorua. And yes, here we are.
Was that because you needed to build a home in which to harbour the sport that your family is so passionate about?
Yes, yeah. And with the opportunity, having Puke Te Whero Park here is just awesome. Working with the Code Rugby League and having the backing of Rotorua City Council as well, yeah.
So now we've got your 2 children in the background. Would you like to introduce them? Because I'm going to have a quick chat with them both.
Okay. This is Chantal. She will be playing Division Ladies this year, and she's decided this week she would like to coach her junior teams as well.
Lovely.
And this is my son Jaden. He will be playing under 15s this year. He is a left-handed pitcher. And they're both made, Chantal's made North Harbour rep team, and Jaden's made Auckland teams plus ISA to play over in Australia earlier on this year.
Wonderful. Well, I'll have a quick chat. So these are Leanne's children who have been a part of the sport for a very long time, actually since you were 3?
3, yeah, 3.
And how old are you?
About 2 or 3 also. Yeah. Really, really young.
And did you enjoy the sport from that age?
Yeah, it was quite loving, enjoying.
And what keeps you in the sport?
You make a lot of friends and you just have that competitive drive that you just want to keep playing every weekend.
What's your ambitions for the future? Are you going to take this professionally?
I'm thinking about it, yeah, thinking.
I don't really want to competitively do it. I just want to, coach little ones to hopefully give them that enjoyable taste that we all have.
And were you quite surprised to find that Rotorua didn't have any teams at all?
Not really, because it's such a small town, so yeah.
You find living here is living in the wop-wop, so yeah, not surprising at all.
Okay guys, so Mum's ventured out on this big adventure. Are you going to back her and help her with it?
Clearly, yeah. Yeah. I think it's children's doing by helping them.
Okay. All right, well thank you so much.
Great to see softball making a comeback in the city. If you have a news event TV Rotorua can support, call our office and talk with one of the team on 0734 88984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team here at City News, for Mārie.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.